All right, welcome everybody to episode 4 of Maganda Forever podcast. Thank you much for
Jelanje,
joining.
Zdravoj, Zernacet, Bolad no Robinio, Ajin, Soldat.
Jakotovic.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Maganda Forever podcast. I'm Monica,
I'm Matt.
And I am Vince.
and we are going to cover episode 6 of WandaVision and Batman Soul of the Dragon.
Ooh, look at that shirt though.
Look at that. I didn't even know.
I like it.
I didn't even know that it would coincide with the episode with the Halloween costumes.
Oh,
Because I didn't even see the trailer. I didn't
I
even see the promo or teaser or anything. So it worked out.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I got another Wanda shirt, but I'll be premiering that next week.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't say the Jelanje words, okay? You got me that one time. Just
You're gonna get the Scarlet Witch headband and then you're that. No shirt, no shirt.
I'm just gonna buy a red thong, and just put it on my head.
That's so gross. Anyway.
So yeah, let's
Episode
get talk
6.
about episode 6. Man, blew my mind.
Got a lot
Each
to
episode-
talk about.
Each episode, I'm like, okay, that was probably the best episode.
Yep.
It's
It
just
only gets better.
each one just gets better and better.
Better and better.
You want to hit
did
him with
any-
a recap?
Yeah, so we're in again another era. Did anyone get Malcolm in the Middle vibes?
Dude, Maximoff in the middle, dude.
Middle.
Maximoff in the
Damn
middle.
it. That's what I wrote down in my notes.
Oh, good, because that's the episode title. You got it.
Is it? What?
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Vision's gonna be like, "You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now." And you're not so.
I didn't look at any episode titles. But yeah, we're in the 90s. It was perfect.
It was perfect.
Super
Malcolm
dope.
in the middle, though.
Hell liked it.
Um,
To be honest, I never really was into that show, but I mean, I knew right away.
Me neither.
That's what
Me
they
neither.
were
But that's a
doing.
classic intro.
Yeah.
Like everyone
Yeah.
knows that intro without
Yeah.
even watching it.
Yeah, and they even had like the narration style down for like when
Yeah.
they're like walking and talking to the
Yeah.
the camera.
Yeah.
So as you can tell from Matt's shirt, we're at Halloween.
Mhm.
Exactly how they were dressed.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, spot on. Spot on. I
I'm
like what they
sure-
did with that. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm
that was
sure
great.
everyone was like, "Oh, it's a nod to Vision and Wanda's original outfits." but
First
it's also-
time in the universe, we got comic accurate costumes.
Well, and then yeah, so they had those two. We had Quicksilver, and we actually had Wiccan. That was actually Wiccan's
noticed that.
Yeah, it was.
costume.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Oh, but going back to the intro, did you guys notice some of the lyrics?
Oh, did we do a recap?
yeah,
Oh, what
Oh,
was
we're-
it? Oh, no,
we're-
no, go ahead,
we're
go ahead.
going-
Let's, yeah, intro. Let's do
Yeah,
the
we're
intro.
going
I
piece
didn't
by
notice
piece.
anything about the intro.
the intro
So,
was talking about like just go along with it, even though it's weird and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do you have to
Yeah.
add, Vince?
Yeah, pretty much that's what it was. And it was like it's kind of recognizing from the audience's perspective. It's saying like things might seem a little off, but we're just gonna keep it going and stuff like that. Which was pretty cool. It was pretty interesting when because I watched it twice. And the second time I watched it with the subtitles and I was like, wait, are they really saying that? Like, am I tripping? That's what they're doing?
Yeah,
So I thought that was
kind of like
pretty cool.
it's kind of like smile for the cameras, even though shit's weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was
just
weird.
like just go with it. There were some other lyrics too that I forgot, but they were it was pretty spot on from everybody's how we're all confused, but we're just gonna keep watching it and see where it goes and stuff like that.
Yeah, keep rolling. And
That's pretty cool.
so the lyrics were very aware of themselves, but I think
Mm.
Quicksilver too is kind of like keeps breaking the fourth wall of like, hey, I'm just being like the sassy uncle or whatever, and just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
playing into the TV tropes. So
Mhm.
I really don't know where they're going with this character. It's really interesting.
It makes me question if it's really him or if it's just like a construct that Mephisto made.
Dude, that's
'Cause, like,
That's
he's
what I
got-
thought.
It seems he's got like some kind of meta awareness.
that's one of my questions. I was
He
about
has
to
the
ask you
kind
guys,
of
yeah.
he has the kind of awareness that
Or maybe it's
Agnes
both.
has.
Maybe it really is him, but he's also being used by Mephisto to mess with Wanda.
Yeah.
That's how I felt like.
He has the kind of awareness that Agnes has, but like Agnes, you don't know if he's there to help or if he's under Wanda's spell or if it's Mephisto trying to get answers out
Yeah.
of Wanda.
So
Yeah.
this whole episode set on the backdrop of Halloween, and they dress up as their comic book counterparts, and there really wasn't
So
much
cool.
plot moving forward. It was kind of a stagnant episode plot wise, but a lot happened. Um,
Yeah.
Other than the actual festival, we get to see what happens once you go past a certain street. I believe it was called Ellis,
Ellis
Correct.
Street.
and beyond that street, not much is happening. People aren't moving. There was that one lady who was just going like this with the clothesline back and
Creepy,
forth.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Hey, they got the unsettling thing down. I think they might.
Cool.
It's giving me more faith for
That
Multiverse
was
of
dope,
Madness,
dude.
but yeah, that's another thing.
Did
But
you
yeah.
notice-
The one tier, the single tier.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I
just
saw
crying.
that.
Oh my god, that
Just
one
Just like
was-
that, the Indian from Wayne's World picking up the trash. Dude.
Did you notice though in the beginning when Vision's trying to kind of get away from Wanda so that he can patrol,
Mhm.
when he's talking about the costume, he's like, "Well, there was nothing else in my closet except for this," and then like they
Yeah.
kind of shared a weird look, and then he was like,
Yeah.
"I mean, like he jumped back into his sitcom character, and I don't know if that's Vision trying to play by Wanda's rules so that he can sneak away, or if she's
Yeah.
starting to like start."
He's
to
definitely. I
teach
feel
him.
like he's definitely playing along just so he can investigate further. But I don't
Yeah.
think that's going to keep going on because he knows what's happening now.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can't leave, I think that once this is over, we're not going to get Vision out of it. I think he's part of the world. He's not going to be able to survive it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Mm.
worried about. I was really hoping that they would go into his astral, like his white uniform, and he would be back in the Avengers.
I really hope we still get Frankie Muniz out of it, though.
It's suspicious though that he and Wanda, like, I mean, Wanda's probably suppressing her memories, but like, I don't know, like, neither of them remember their time with the Avengers really. Like, Wanda's starting to let out, like,
No, she remembers.
my brother
She
died.
remembers the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure how much of Mephisto's like trying to influence her and how much she remembers in order to figure out how to manipulate her powers for his own gain.
Again, we're still assuming it's Mephisto, so we don't know.
Yeah, no,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
so
That's,
yeah,
that's something I wanted to bring up later. Too.
I don't think Agnes is Agatha Harkness. I think she's just some
I
random bystander, which is fine. I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about the lore. So if she is,
Also-
that's cool. She's not, whatever. But that part was really powerful when she was freaking out.
So
That-
I
that's
had a
part
question
of my
about
questions
that.
at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a question about that part because all the way up until that part where he runs into Agnes's car, all the people he tried to interact with just didn't respond. They didn't answer him back. They didn't move. So
Right.
she's on the very edge. She's furthest away from everything else, but she was able to
But she was
really
able to.
talk
But-
to him.
So I think the caveat there is that she is in the central. She's more in the central city. So
That's
she just
speaking
drove
of-
out there. She just drove out there. Maybe the effects
Oh.
haven't fully set in. Those people
Okay.
live on the perimeter.
On the edge.
So maybe
yeah.
that's why they're always slow. Maybe that's why it was still catching up to her, the effect.
Okay.
So maybe that's why she could interact more. But yeah, that part was really trippy. That was great.
But there's also the whole thing about like you got lost in the town where you
Yeah,
grew
so he's
up
trying
in,
to. Yeah.
and then she was like, yeah, so I don't know, like I feel like she still has a bigger role to play outside of this bubble.
She definitely didn't get lost. I feel like she was trying to escape. Maybe like something got a hold of, like maybe she broke free for a second while she was driving.
Okay. That's fair. It could have been because she let the kids out, so she's controlling more people than usual, so she doesn't have as tight a control of the central characters. But even like the I forgot his name, but the security guard that she was talking to, and he's like, "Do you want me to change something?" Like,
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, her.
yeah.
Her.
So
Yeah.
that line makes me think that there is someone else controlling it and he's trying to cater to Wanda's needs since
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
so like,
exactly.
she's
Mhm.
so like, what's the word? Unstable. That's not really the word I wanted, but she's so volatile that he's trying to appease her
Appease her,
as much
yeah.
as he can. Yeah. And now
To keep her in that state.
it's more and more evident that someone's controlling her.
That's
Yeah.
definitely what I think, especially because like when her and Vision really started to come to a head at the last episode, like Quicksilver just appeared and he was like a complete break, but it was drawing Wanda back in. So I feel like my question was the fact that they have the health vitals of everyone in the town and they have a vital on Vision. Like, do you think that it's possible that Sword was experimenting on him and set up this place to try to experiment on
Oh.
Wanda also?
Oh,
okay,
interesting.
okay. All right.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah,
Very
because
good.
like
So it's just some regular
especially
dude. I'm Jack Mephisto. How do you do?
no, I mean like especially because when Quicksilver was like, "How did you do this? How did this happen?" Like they're trying to get answers out of her on how things are happening.
So last
Oh,
episode, you said that you thought Pietro was a way to keep Wanda appeased and not have her realize. But my take on it now is that someone else is controlling Pietro because he's trying to break her out of it. Remember when he's like, "What happened to your accent?"
Yeah,
yeah,
and what
yeah.
happened
So
to
what happened to
yours?
So
yours?
he's
Yeah.
actually actively taking steps to
No,
try to break her out of it.
but
So I
she's the one
think
who
someone.
said she's the one who said what happened to your accent, and he said what happened to yours.
Yeah,
Oh,
she was
that's
the
right.
first one.
Okay.
She was the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. So he brought that up, but he also did, like you said, he said a lot of other like fourth wall breaking things to try to break her out of it.
He did.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that there's two forces at work. There's like the Mephisto, and then there's someone else. Maybe it is Agatha Harkness who's trying to manipulate other people, try to break them free. And maybe that's why she always like, you remember when she was like, "Do you want me to take it from the top?" Maybe she's also subconsciously trying to break Wanda free from it. And so there's like maybe three different forces at play is my theory right now.
Okay. I did
Mhm.
want to bring up that line that Quicksilver had where she's like, "Where did you come from?" or whatever. And he was like, "I heard you and I knew that you needed me." So like I'm
Yeah.
really trying, I'm hoping that it's still leading to that whole like he's from another dimension, but like they're still brother and sister.
Yeah,
So
a
go
lot
go
of
go.
stuff that's going on. I feel like it's it's kind of like red herrings. Like it's distracting us from what
Yeah,
the real thing is. So it's
it's
like they're
true.
doing it on purpose. So like maybe some of the things that we think are kind of obvious, it's really not. You know,
Yeah.
so like maybe we all think that it's from another universe, but then really it's just I think Matt, you said this where it's just somewhat like a avatar kind of playing as um as Pietro, but then maybe Wanda just because she's unstable, she wasn't able to get the right version of him, which is
Oh.
why it was the other one. So there
Okay.
it could be that just like more distractions to kind of throw you off.
So what kind of threw me for a loop is that this Pietro allegedly has the MCU Pietro's memories because he says, "I
Yeah,
remember getting shot in the street
yeah.
and I remember you
Hmm.
calling for me." That makes me even more convinced that it's someone pulling the strings of Pietro because I mean he's obviously from the X-Men universe,
Yeah,
but whoever's pulling the strings knows what happens in the MCU universe, so they're trying
right.
to overwrite it onto him.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure what his grand purpose is, but
Mhm.
it is pretty weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
speaking of pretty weird, I did want to jump into the commercial really quickly because I've seen online a lot of people are speculating like, "Oh, this is a way to explain Wanda's power and all this stuff." I was like, "No, I think this relates to the people on the edge where it's like they keep
Oh,
opening stuff repeatedly, but they're not actually getting the sustenance
oh,
they need. So I
interesting.
think they're gonna wither away and die."
Yeah.
But like I've seen a lot online, like the whole like yo magic, the yogurt. They think that it's like Wanda's magic that she hasn't untapped yet, but I think it's relating to the people she's controlling because if they're just like the clothesline lady and she had the single
Mm.
tear, like I think they're like starving and they're just like they're
Oh, yeah.
obviously
That's a
under a
that's
lot of
a
pain.
good
I
point.
think it symbolizes, like you said, the magic that she hasn't tapped into. And remember that dude starved because he couldn't get it open. Maybe Wanda is able to break free and save everyone because she does get it open.
Okay, let's hope.
I kind of took it as because I mentioned before how like kind of each commercial somewhat has to do with maybe an infinity stone. So I was
Mm.
kind of thinking like so that person was alive and they, you know, eventually it showed them and they became dead. So what happens to their soul? So maybe that's something that has to do with the
So,
soul stone, maybe.
Okay,
Like it's just a nod to it. I don't know, that's kind of reaching, but that's
yeah,
uh
well,
that's what I was
eventually they're
kind
going
of
to run
thinking.
out of stones. I think this is the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
that's
stone
true.
episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And going back to the main episode, can everyone give a clap to Agent Woo?
Woo, dude. He came with it, dude.
He
He
came
came
with the
with it.
hands. He came with the hands. I was
Dude,
hoping to see
dude.
more magic. He's just like, look at this hand.
Throwing cards. There's actually a rumor that he's gonna play Gambit.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What forums are you
Exclusive,
on?
dude. Exclusive news, man. I'm breaking it.
He was like, "Is this your
These are
card?"
facts.
But
Did
man,
you
yeah,
guys
that was sick.
did you guys like the costumes that the kids had, and then even with Quicksilver, like I liked that he had like his
It was
wing
that
Yeah.
was he had the hair, he had the streak
The
of lightning
streak, yeah.
that was hella
and the
cool.
silver. Yeah.
That was
The
hella
only
cool.
way it would have been doper is if it was the Green Brotherhood of Evil Mutants outfit.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. I actually like that one.
Is
Yeah,
that the
that was
same
some-
thing, but it's green though?
It's
It's like the
green.
same
Yeah,
look.
it's green.
Yeah.
It's green. Yeah, the same look, but it's green. But yeah, that was
Okay.
dope. I really appreciated the nods to the comic
Yeah,
and
that
the
was
comic
cool.
book costumes.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that Pietro's super speed effects are now the MCU effects? Like when he's running back and forth, you'll see like streaks of blue,
Yeah.
streaks of blue now. But before it was just like fast movement. Like
Yeah.
so, they really are folding him into the MCU. It seems they're not bringing
Yeah.
in the effects. At least they're keeping with the at least the visual style of it, I guess. I hope
think
that
that-
they don't tone his speed down though. I still hope he's up in like he's still got that super fast speed, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
I think that with the kids, like I think the kids are gonna be for sure in like the next phases. Like I think they're gonna be
Oh,
real.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah. I mean, like
They're definitely
they
planting the
even
seeds for
said-
Young Avengers.
Well,
Yeah.
they even said she's manipulating your DNA. Whatever happens in there is real. So I think that's like a photon. I think she's really gonna get her
Yeah.
powers, and then
Mhm.
B, like you said, the kids. Like the kids are real. They're really hers, and they have like we already saw Wiccan. We saw what was his name, Speedy, the Young Avengers.
Speed, just
Speed.
Speed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Speedy is a arrow.
Is that yeah.
It's the Arrow sidekick.
Yeah. My
That's
bad.
layers, bro.
I like how they were just in the beginning. I like how they were playing DDR. I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, oh shit. That was cool. That was cool.
Man.
What you saying, Matt?
I was gonna say, did you notice that they threw in like that Easter egg? I don't know if it's an Easter egg, but that reference when they're gonna do something in one of
Kick-Ass?
the kick-ass,
Yeah.
and then she's like kick-ass.
That was hella cool.
Yeah, because Aaron Taylor Johnson
I
was
know.
kick-ass. Evan Peters was his friend in the first
Mhm.
kick-ass, who got replaced in the second one. But yeah, that was a pretty cool nod.
Did you also
Yeah.
notice that at the beginning of the episode, like the beginning when they were recapping, they actually showed the Evan
yeah.
Peters.
Yeah,
I don't think they did
they showed
before.
Aaron Taylor Johnson getting shot. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Okay.
that was cool.
Yeah, it was the scene from the movie. Yeah. Jumping to the what's happening in the real world. I need to go back and rewatch the scene where Darcy is in the files because I didn't catch as many names.
I don't think she broke it yet. I think that's gonna come. Like it.
No, I know that, but like you know how like it showed a bunch of names as she was digging deeper and deeper. I wanted to go back and see what names were actually in those files.
I know
Because
that.
kind of yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I think that kind of leads into what I was saying about like it could be possible that all of this, like you know how you said there's three forces. I think one of them is Sword, but not just from the outside. Like I think they actually kind of had a hand in what started her mental break and like got her to this point.
I saw some videos online that some of the names that they've shown, even like on the credits, like that one in the last episode or two ago when Vision and Wanda were fighting and then they rolled the credits hella quick. A lot of those names are actually just names of people who work on the show, like in real life.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
yeah,
Like-
no, yeah.
it's like
Even
assistant
when they're
producers or
when they're
whatever.
matching like the sitcom name to the real name. The real name
Mhm.
is often like, oh, they're actually like a lighting producer or like a costume designer. For
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah. So they're actually real workers and stuff,
Yeah,
which is pretty
Interesting.
yeah. So I wanted to see if it's that again or if it's like
Mm.
if they have stuff like Hank Pym or like you know just like
Yeah.
nods to other characters in the universe.
Did you guys notice? So the scene where Wanda and then Pietro, when they're just like walking there and then they're going to sit down on the haystacks and stuff like that. Did you notice the movies that were in the background of the
Yeah.
theater?
No, what were they?
That was pretty cool. So it was The Incredibles, and then the other
Oh.
one was Parent Trap, which is pretty cool because of
Switch
course
places.
Incredibles is a superhero family, and then
Yeah.
Parent Trap is just a great Lindsay Lohan movie.
That's it. They're in the MCU.
I think
It's
they're
happening.
in-
She's coming.
like, so Parent Trap is about twins and they switch places.
Yeah.
Is that a nod to like Quicksilver, the two Quicksilvers switching places? I don't know.
That's my
I don't-
secret. I've
I
always
kinda
got red
took it-
hair.
Stupid. I kind of took it as like, because in the Parent Trap movie, they're the twins and they're trying to get their parents back together.
Yeah.
So is maybe Wanda and Pietro are trying to get back to their real parents, maybe Magneto or something like that. That's the way I kind of took it.
I do wonder which origin story of their parents they're gonna go with,
Yeah,
because the most well-known one is Magneto, but the current one in the comics is that so Magneto was their parents who they thought was their dad, and then they were adopted to a gypsy camp. I think, was it gypsies or no? It was, I forget.
Magneto was gypsy too.
No,
He
well,
was?
so
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it was like I think they're taken in by like a gypsy couple or something. That's why it's like Maximoff is their last name. And then it turns out later that like Magneto is not really their dad, but their parents is the aunt of the couple that took them in. It's something weird where it's like Wanda's powers are through their family. So she's not the first Scarlet Witch. Her birth mother is the first Scarlet Witch, and her birth grandfather is the Scarlet Warlock or something like that. So
interesting.
That's why when she says no more mutants and gets rid of mutants, they're like, you're not really a mutant either. You're magic. Like your powers are from experimentation, not from a genetic gene. So
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're probably gonna go with Magneto. It's the most commonly accepted storyline, but yeah.
Do you think that she's gonna just have those memories out of nowhere? Like it's just gonna manifest in her mind. Suddenly she knows that Magneto's her dad.
Did she you thinking that she suppressed it, or like she just doesn't know? Like,
oh no, I think that she has her like this MCU memories. But my question is, once the multiverses start getting folded in, is she suddenly gonna remember the Wanda from the Fox universe's memories?
It's possible because I mean, like she wasn't in the Fox universe yet, right? They only had.
She was.
Was she?
In Days of Future Past when Pietro comes down, it's in the background. Like one of the parents says, "Go sit with your sister" or something like that. They don't say her name, but it is Wanda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure, but I mean, they did have that flash that was very Malcolm in the Middle-esque, where it's like I don't remember that.
Yeah, so that's what makes that's what makes me think that maybe memories are gonna start emerging that didn't exist beforehand. Because he in the beginning, actually, when she was like, "Why don't I remember?" I forgot what she was talking about, but she's like, "Why I don't remember it like that?" And he was like, "Maybe you suppressed it." Like, probably suppressed it. Yeah.
Pietro had some really good lines where it's like, you can, as you said before, like you can kind of tell that he knows things, trying to influence her, because she doesn't know them.
I turned away very quickly when they did the Flash death. Was it still Evan Peters or was it the old?
It was still Evan Peters.
It was still Evan Peters.
You didn't look. Come on, this is a freaking Disney show.
I saw it, but I didn't rewind it to see if it was really him or if they superimposed the other.
Nah, that was really him, dude. Which is weird. Like, okay, so are they gonna fold in Evan Peters and keep Aaron Taylor Johnson's backstory, or is this just like a mind fuck right now?
I think it's a mind fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And he had that line. Let me see. I wrote it down. When I think this is when they were arguing, like on the haystack or something, and then he was like, "I'll come to town unexpectedly, create tension, stir up trouble with the Rugrats, and give you grief. Isn't that what you wanted?" So that was pretty cool how he said that.
Well, it kind of leads to what you said earlier in an earlier episode where they, as a foreign country, probably grew up watching American sitcoms. So it's like
that's one of the tropes.
Following the typical plot point of an American sitcom.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
so it's kind of like twofold in a way.
I think it's twofold.
Yeah.
Who else was blown away by Wanda actually exerting her powers? Like,
so that's what made me question how much control she actually has in this. Like, is she really just a pawn in this? Because she was able to expand the limits of it. So how much is she really playing into it? Is she being is this being controlled by someone else and she's just having a small hand in it, or is someone playing Wanda to make her have a large hand in it? Because she was able to expand the limits. So
I think it's more the second one. Like she'll do anything for her family, and the helplessness of not saving Vision or destroying him. Like, you know how she was fighting off Thanos and trying to get the stone out. And then not being able to save her brother either. I think she'll just do anything. Like, but it was crazy seeing her slow everyone down to a standstill, and then
because she's never done that before.
Yeah, exactly. So
reminded me of when Professor X used to do it in the X-Men universe.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. That was dope. Also, that was hella sick when Pietro was just like, what, your husband's not like he's gonna die twice.
Yeah.
She was like, boom.
He got a hex bolt to the chest.
Dude, that was sick. That was sick.
I don't remember a Wiccan's powers exactly.
I was just about to ask that. Like, what are his powers?
I don't think they're fully defined. Kind of like how Wanda started out, they weren't fully defined.
Okay,
it's just like around the loose umbrella, like the general umbrella of magic, whatever that is.
Okay,
is it like telekinesis or something like that? Is
like
kind of
whatever that entails? Whatever, yeah.
That
was pretty cool when it showed Speed, running, and then Wiccan just stops him.
Yeah,
like, that was hella cool. That was dope.
So there's balance there. Yeah, I like it. I want to see where this is going, because I'm not sure who actually made it out, because Agent Wu and Monica are going one way she's like going over the ridge to meet her friend. Like, who thinks that friend is an Avenger? But then if they were an Avenger, why wouldn't they just come to the camp and like break it all down? They obviously would have more say than the direct.
I don't know. The Sokovia Accords are still in effect. Why wouldn't they be? Just because of the Endgame? Maybe they're more in effect because of Endgame. Maybe that could have been prevented if the heroes were.
I think half of the Accords disappeared, dude. The bottom half of the page. Just snap.
You can go here, but you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
So speaking of the person she was texting, who Monica was texting, she actually said he. And that's different than what I brought up in the last episode, how like with the subtitles for the Spanish conjugation or whatever, it was the feminine version. So since it's known that it's a he, are you guys more leaning to Reed Richards now, or do you think it's just somebody completely different? So
Kuya, you thought it was going to be an Avenger.
Yep.
Is her contact to someone who can get her into the hex, right?
Yep.
But is it someone in Sword as well?
She hasn't said anything. Yeah.
I thought that was it. I could have sworn, or maybe that's what I assumed it was, that it was a contact within Sword that could get her into the hex. Because who else is going to get her into the hex? Sword's got it pretty sealed off. So who else could it be? And how would they have a way in? And how would she know about it?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm kind of thinking, it just popped in my mind right now. So everybody is pretty much on the boat of it's Reed Richards. But if it's someone who is really smart and knows some type of technology and something like that, now I'm thinking, what if it's Ant-Man?
Someone who can the Pims.
Yeah. What if it's one of the Pims?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Because this is magic. This is not really I guess no, because the what is it? What do they call the shrink world?
Quantum realm.
Quantum realm is linked to Doctor Strange's when he was tripping out. So those two are linked somehow. Yeah. So also, it could very well be. But I think the contact is Nick Fury.
That would make total sense because of course their history in Captain Marvel. So that would make sense.
Yeah, I was wondering because like it's anytime they experiment in a suit, it has to be the Pims. Like when they were experimenting with time travel, when they were experimenting with the quantum realm. So if she wanted to safely get into the hex and retain her mind, I was thinking like possibly. Yeah.
I saw this one theory online, and it was that the guy that she's referring to is, I think his name is the Blue Marvel or something like that.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, hang on.
They're going deep with it.
I don't know who I don't know who that is, but he kind of looks like Superman.
No idea who that is.
But I don't know if that's because I only heard that once out of all the different theories that are out there. So I really doubt that.
Yeah.
Damn, they're going super obscure with it. Speaking of theories, Jason in San Jose says, I think WandaVision is pulling an Inception here. Wanda is in her own dream. Each episode, she and other characters are remembering or realizing that the Westview dream is not real. Starts in the 50s, more characters realize it's not real and breaks the immersion, thus time fast forwarding, and may soon be coming close to present time. The reality that Vision is dead. So maybe it is a way for her to
Wow.
cope with it, to cope with
I
the
mean,
fact that Vision is dead. Maybe she's creating this entire construct to kind of ease her into it.
well, so
Thank you,
I
Jason in San Jose, for that comment. By the
Comb
way,
your hair.
I'm wondering, like, I think it might have started that way, where it's a way to cope. But again, like, I think there's other powers at play that want to use her powers. Like the leading questions that Pietro keeps asking her, like, how did this start? How did this all happen? Like, it could be him trying to pull her out of it, but it could also be someone trying to figure out how can we do this again to manipulate it to a world of our choosing. So I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot going on.
yeah. Oh, one
Um,
thing I jotted down. I don't know if this is me just kind of reaching, but this is at the very beginning of the episode when Wiccan and Speed were like, "Oh, are you afraid that Uncle Pietro is going to be a vampire or something like that?" I don't know if that was just like they're just throwing that in there because it's a Halloween episode, but I was like, "Are you guys hinting at vampires?" Like I know that you guys are talking about Blade.
What, you think he's Morbius? Pussy. Oh, you think he's
Well,
a daywalker?
if
He's
we're going
Frost.
if we're going with the undead, I mean, like, do they know that Pietro had died before? They just said, like, she never
Oh
talks
yeah,
about him.
yeah.
Like, he's been gone. Mom doesn't like to say anything or whatever.
Mm. There was another thing that I noticed, and I also saw it online too, that kind of like made me uh, guess again about it. Because I don't know if you guys have heard, but I think the bad guy, or at least one of the bad guys in the Doctor Strange movie, is Nightmare. I don't know anything about him,
I don't know who that is.
but Nightmare, they say the name, they say Nightmare like twice in the episode. I don't know if that's like a sign that maybe the big bad in WandaVision is not Mephisto, but it's actually Nightmare, who can create realities, um, and has like other mind controlling powers and stuff like that. So maybe it's another way of distracting the audience. Like people are so on Mephisto right now that maybe it's totally not him, and it's actually Nightmare right now doing this whole thing. But maybe him and Mephisto are like working together or something at the end.
I gave it a
Interesting.
goog. I see that he's one of the commonly known enemies of both Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider. So if they go down that way, at least it's a way to like bring those two. I mean,
Yeah,
Doctor Strange is already there, but yeah.
yeah.
So interesting stuff. Um, anything else you guys want to recap? Any WTFs or theories before we switch to Batman?
That's all I
Yes.
got. Oh, go ahead.
One. So you know how Wanda extends her powers and then it goes past and it sucks everybody in. And so my theory is that all those agents, because they got sucked in, and then because the way Monica went in and then she went out, she's getting her powers and stuff like that. So I'm thinking maybe this is Wanda creating mutants. So
Mutants.
all those agents that she sucked in, they're gonna be mutants,
I
which
had
means
that.
also Darcy is gonna get powers.
Oh,
I had
snap.
that.
You're right. She did get in there.
I
Yeah.
had that same thought,
Man.
but I wasn't sure.
That hot air balloon's going to have powers.
I had
Those clowns.
So I had that same thought, but I wasn't sure because Monica's a special case in that she went in and out and then probably in again. So she has extra exposure to basically the same, they said it's the same energy that created the stones, which was the Big Bang. So
Yeah.
that'd be a cool way to introduce all the mutants. I had that. I was thinking that too, but I wasn't sure how much, like, is it the duration of time you're under her influence or how many times you pass into her sphere of control?
Mm.
But that'd be really cool. I mean, it's an easy way to really like, oh, all the radiation from her powers
Yeah.
caused these. Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
That'd
Do
be
you guys
awesome if
think-
Darcy had powers. She's sassy.
That'd be hella cool. Do you guys
Some
think,
more mutants.
a minimum amount of mutants?
Like 7 mutants. What are you asking?
So I know we kind of talked about this, about how Agnes, it seems like she's playing a bigger part, and then she was kind of talking to Vision, that scene where he came down and then was talking to her in the car. Do you think that she also is doing that on purpose? Like she kind of is playing it off so that to go along with Vision's suspicion, like she's doing that on purpose, but like she knows all that stuff.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
You know what I mean?
that's why I kind of think she has. I don't think she's necessarily evil, but I think she has a bigger hand in this, because like any
Yeah.
time something tragic is kind of introduced, like she was there when she asked about the brother again, I think, right after she kicked Monica out, she also asked about the brother, or like if they had any siblings. And then she was there when the dog died, and then she was there to kind of like push Vision to seek the boundaries by saying like, you're dead, like, you know.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
Crazy
I
episode.
think that's all I got. But yeah, definitely a good episode. Each episode, I am so surprised, and I have more questions and stuff like that. And I think Disney is just, they know what to do, man. They
got
know
a
how to
game
pull
plan.
people in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see that they have like a roadmap laid out for like the next 5-10 years, you know they've got this pre-planned. They're not just winging it
Seriously. Yeah.
like another
now
company.
let's talk about who's winging it. DC.
Which brings
Go
us to
for-
DC.
Go for something awesome to something that I could have taken my time back.
First of all, you put some respect on the DC animated universe. They know what the fuck they're doing.
No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
they
the
do.
DC animated universe, but so we're talking about now Batman Soul of the Dragon, and I have
Mar didn't like it. This was the shit, dude. I love this movie.
Mar was
I thought it was pretty cool.
Mar
Hey,
was
it's so
very
sick.
disappointed. So he's
Listen.
disappointed. No, listen. He was disappointed in the fact that Batman could have been anybody. He was basically Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Whatever happened would have happened if he was not there anyway. Like, it was a good movie, but it was not a good Batman movie.
It
compared to
really,
the other
yeah, I
animateds.
get
Who was
that.
gonna
I
throw all those batarangs? First of all,
Yeah, sure.
immediately
No,
debunked.
I get
So
that,
get
though,
out of here.
because after watching it to me, it didn't really seem like a Batman movie.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that was the
Focus on
biggest.
other characters.
That was his biggest transgression. They named it a Batman movie. They maybe should have named.
Yeah.
I probably for the brand recognition. No one was gonna watch it
Yeah.
if it was just called Soul of the
Oh, that makes
Dragon.
sense.
I think it was a
Shiva
sick-
and her amazing friends. Like they had to
I
put
think it was
Batman
a sick-
at the forefront.
it was a
But he
sick
definitely
movie.
wasn't the focus.
I like
Yeah.
the martial arts scenes. It was a very sick movie, but then I didn't like I didn't like that it was a Batman movie because nothing really had to do with
Well, fuck it. Let's do
Batman.
the recap first. We're just jumping into it.
Oh yeah.
Damn. First of all, this
Get into
started
the
out
recap.
with a dead hooker and a dude eating a mouse. This is the real shit.
It did not start with that. It started with a James Bond from Casino Royale.
It went
scene.
right in.
Dude, I really like the vibe, like right away. Like it was
Oh,
very
it was-
James
It was
Bond.
a 70s James
spy
Bondish.
thriller.
There was a
Yeah.
lot of
Awesome powers.
Yeah. So it reminded me of both.
It was a
It
black
reminded-
exploitation film, and it was dope.
And it was
reminded me
also
of-
it was a Batman version of Kung Fu Panda, dude.
Oh, I was gonna say it was a Batman version of Green Hornet. Like
No,
so some of the chase scenes made me think of Green Hornet.
it was a Batman version of the Defenders. They had some great chemistry at certain points, like in the plane when they were like, "What did they call you, Black Samurai?" And he was like, "Nah, they call me Bronze
Bronze
Tiger."
Tiger.
And Batman was like, "Oh."
They were like,
And she was like, "That's pretty good."
Yeah.
That was the shit. All right, let's
So-
do a recap. Let's do a recap. Go on,
so
you do the
this-
recap.
This movie takes place in the 70s, and you start off, like I said, kind of like 007 Casino Royale, where there's obviously an agent, and he's trying to get someone's fingerprints. Which, if he was gonna take a picture and print out a fingerprint, why didn't he just use tape? And also, why is the
Did he
fingerprint
take a
so-
picture? No, he took the
close to
the
the rim?
fingerprint. He took the fingerprint off the tape. Got into.
No, he
From the
took a
cup, right?
picture.
No, he didn't take a picture of the fingerprint. He just taking pictures of the files.
No, he also had a camera, and he took a picture of the
I thought it
fingerprint.
was of
The
the
fingerprint
cup.
printed out the
Yeah.
The
Oh,
camera
really?
printed out a
I thought
thing
he
and
took a
stuck it
picture
to
of
his
the
finger.
glass.
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just use tape. And also, who holds a wine glass with a stem all the way up here?
I hold my wine like this. That's delicious.
He had a lot. The character we're following, we'll find out later, is Richard Dragon, which is a martial artist in the comic books.
I didn't even know who that was until this movie.
Dude, the martial artist, dude. First of all, you already know I'm cuckoo for martial artists. So good. Sorry, keep going.
He has a lot of kind of like Bruce Lee, like very suave, like he's just eating an apple, touching everything with his hands. And like he broke into the penthouse, took a bunch of pictures of files, and then he gets ambushed by a bunch of people, parachutes out the window, and it's just
whoa, you're just gonna go over the fact that someone threw a grenade at him and he turned around, kicked it back at him, and then broke out the window. That shit was the fucking shit. Oh my god.
That was like Captain America. That one scene.
Oh yeah.
Don't watch this movie for Batman. Watch this movie for the fight scenes, because the fight scenes, even just
the training,
even just the training, cool. When you see people like in their natural, like just doing katas or whatever, like it's pretty sick the way they animate.
And it was it looked like it was accurate too, like to the style.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
So did you say what he broke in to get? It was a picture of like some gate. And then he looks at it like he recognizes it. So then he goes to recruit Bruce, and throughout the movie, they're recruiting different martial artists. First it's Bruce, then they go recruit Shiva, then they go recruit Bronze Tiger. And throughout the whole time, there's flashbacks that tells you why they're going to gather everyone to protect this gate. And it turns out like they all trained at the same monastery under a teacher called Sensei.
Was that actually in the comics? Like, did they all
I think they all trained under him, but not at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Sensei was first introduced in Richard Dragon's comic line. I looked it up.
Okay.
Cool. Nice. Okay. But yeah, so you find out that behind this gate there's like some sort of demon, like snake demon, and it's trying to break through. There's like a faction, which is kind of like Hydra, that's trying to bring them out. And then they have like an avatar that will manifest that, or the spirit will possess that person, and then they'll be the avatar of that snake god. That's kind of the gist of it. Now we can get into what we liked.
Speaking of Hydra, the cult's name was Cobra.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai, dude.
Close enough.
And they're also part of the comics, yes. I will go first because I had more likes, or I had more dislikes than likes.
Get the fuck out of here! Get her out of this Zoom. Let's kick her out.
I like the important parts. I really like the fighting. Like all the different fight scenes are really dope. And I really liked the music. Thank you.
Dude, the score was the score and the visual style.
It was so good.
That was the shit.
I did think it was interesting in the very beginning. They're kind of doing that 3D animation on 2D animation with the cars, like when you pull up to the casino, but then it swiftly turns into the animation you see in like the most recent like Scooby-Doo. Like
it kind of reminded me of the old Justice League too, like that type of
very square, very like
boxy.
I like it,
boxy.
I don't mind
geometric.
Yeah.
I mean, the action was the shit. Yeah, and like you said, it really was faithful to like styles. I was like, they're definitely drawing kung fu.
Yeah. Well, it was faithful to the styles and the time period, like all the clothing, all of the like. I was waiting for someone to say jive turkey.
Of course, you can't go without saying jive turkey in that movie. Foxy Cleopatra. That shit was the shit though, man. Oh, voice actors. So we got Michael Jai White as Bronze Tiger.
That was cool.
Excellent pick.
Yeah.
We got I don't know who the Batman was, but he was great.
Jamie Chung is in there.
Jamie Chung is Cheshire. Kelly Hu is now Shiva, but in Young Justice she played Cheshire.
Yeah.
But Kelly Hu's always like the female Asian voice, so we can excuse that.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so go ahead with your dislikes.
My dislikes was like I said, it was like Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Batman was just a bystander, and all of the detective work and a lot of the reasoning and stuff like that was figured out by a different character. So like I feel like they had great chemistry. It was a good ensemble.
Matt is disapproving.
But it was kind of just like, oh yeah, go put that costume on.
You know what the fuck you're talking about.
He didn't beat any bosses. He didn't make any of the detective reasoning. He didn't gather any of the forces. It was all Richard Dragon. It was a Richard Dragon movie.
Get your shit off. Go ahead. All right. Is that it?
I do We'll talk about it later, but like I was kind of disappointed they didn't do Cheshire because Jade
I
is
thought
the
she
name of
was.
Cheshire. I thought she was
Yeah, that's what
gonna
I
be
thought.
Cheshire.
That's what I
That was
thought.
Cheshire, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but they just didn't like say it right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they were gonna murk her ass.
Yeah.
I had to look
And-
up who that white dude was. Rip Jagger,
Rip?
judo master, apparently. And he's a
Yep.
real comic book character. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
yeah,
they're
he
just
is. All of
that's
them
why
are
he's there, because they needed
Oh.
someone non-essential to murk.
Yeah.
Got
All
the
of them are
karate
in
moves like
Cheshire.
Jagger, dude.
I know.
Rip Jagger
I'm
like
going
Mick Jagger.
I'm going through my notes, and for music, I said music was vibing.
Nice. I put
Um,
music was wow won't wow won't wow won't.
Rip Jagger, and I'm a whole lot of woman.
I can't do the leg right now. The kick. What was it? Oh, I did want to note because I kept confusing myself in my brain. I kept getting Soul Taker mixed up with Soul Breaker. So the sword that they're protecting, that's the key to the gate, is Soul Breaker, which
Oh.
when you kill someone, it absorbs the soul, and then you use that to open the gate. But Soul Taker was in Suicide Squad. That's the name of Katana's sword. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
Oh,
That's
nice
right.
connection. I didn't
So
even
I was-
put that together.
So I was like, is it Soul Taker? Are they trying to get into Suicide?
Oh, tell me why I
Suicide
thought
Squad?
that they had both swords, but they only had one. But he did say this is one of two made.
Yeah.
So I guess yeah, for
Oh,
some reason I
nice.
jumped to them having both. So,
Yeah, so I don't
they
know
had
if
the
they're-
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like brother pairs if they're made by the same person, but I mean, like those are the two that I was like, wait. Like I had to look it up because I kept confusing
Soul
myself.
Taker, Soul Breaker, Soul Calibur.
Soul Dot.
Seoul, South Korea. So they mentioned Muramasa as a sword maker. Sorry, I'm going to
Sword
interrupt
maker.
you real quick. And I was like, hang on. So I did some research, and apparently that's like a famed like Japanese sword maker, like way back
In real life?
Nice.
Yeah, and that's why. Because at first I was like, hold on, that's who made Wolverine's blade that could kill people with healing factors, the Muramasa blade.
Nice.
So I was like, is that chiefly a Marvel thing? Why is DC saying it? But apparently that's a real life dude who
Oh.
created some like sword making company.
I
Muramasa and Co. Like, I don't know what to call it.
I have one more
They
like.
also make Cutco. That's what they do.
I had one more like before I pass it to you guys. I really liked Shiva's manicurist.
Oh yeah, she was going. So in the comics, that's called the leopard blow. That's her signature move. Like she'll like strike. Usually it's in the eyes. I think she does it in the eyes. But yeah, in this movie they nailed everything about Shiva. This is the first movie I've seen Shiva done
Yeah,
justice.
I was really happy about
Oh
that.
my god.
Did you catch Richard Dragon doing the 1-inch punch?
Yeah, that was
that's
sick.
what I wrote down. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
this.
Okay, I'll pass it to you guys because that's my main points.
Go ahead, Vince.
I didn't really have any dislikes, to be honest. The only thing is, but I do get what you are coming from. Where like after watching the movie, I was like, was that really a Batman movie? Like, yeah, he was in it, but he didn't really do much. But it was pretty cool to see other characters shine. And also, I mean, I didn't know who Richard Dragon was, so it was cool to kind of see what his story is, and to see that training, like Kung Fu Panda, dude, like an outsider coming in and learning from one sensei with other people training with each other. So that was pretty cool.
You gotta fight a leopard. You're right.
Yeah. The music was really good. The animation reminded me of Justice League, which was kind of cool too. And I like how it seemed like it was very accurate to the style. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I thought it's not one of my tops as a DC animated movie, but I was very entertained, and it wasn't that bad.
I was entertained. I didn't hate it, but like the next morning, Mar was like, I think I decided I didn't like that movie because he's a Batman fan. He actually
Batman was like
Batman a lot.
skadoosh, and I was like, I'm in it. I'm in it.
Skadoosh.
But it's funny you mentioned Kung Fu Panda because the O Sensei is voiced by the same guy who does
the turtle.
Kung
That
Fu
wasn't
Panda's.
Dustin Hoffman.
No,
Oh.
Kung Fu Panda's dad, the duck.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought it was.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, his voice. I feel like he does
Like,
a lot of voice.
Paul! Yeah.
Yeah.
Got me.
Let me tell you why this movie works as a Batman movie, okay? And why
Get
he
him.
didn't, even though he didn't do much. Talk
Get
to
him.
him, all right? Easy.
Get him.
First, they got the martial arts hierarchy down pat. Batman is at the bottom of the bunch. Even after he's acquired all his skills, he's not as skilled a martial artist as everybody else. And that's always been established in the comics. Actually, in the comics, both Batman and Bronze Tiger have trained under Richard Dragon, who is a grandmaster in multiple martial arts. So he's a master himself in the comics. So I would say that the hierarchy is probably Shiva at the top, which they address. She's the guardian of the sword.
She was dope.
And she was dope. At one point,
finger.
they were like,
That's hella cool.
Cheshire put up Judo Master out of nowhere. Like, why don't you fight her? Why are you gonna put me on the board? And then Osensi was like, okay, you could use one finger as defense, and she was catching bodies with it.
So that scene was he awarded her guardianship of the sword, and he said if anyone can defeat her, then you can be the guardian. If you're that jealous.
Bruce didn't want the smoke. You didn't see him speak up. He's like,
yeah.
Guess I'll just go in the cave.
I'm just gonna punch this rock.
He didn't say anything, and then Cheshire was like, "Yeah, it's not fair that she gets it," but then she was like, "He should do it."
I'm like, bitch, fight your fighter.
I bet you Ping and I can take him.
So Rip gets his ass handed to him by her.
Shiva at the top. It's Richard Dragon at second, and then Bronze Tiger at third, and Batman at fourth. And we don't really mention because Cheshire and Judo Master are just there as fodder. They both end up dying. And they're in there so they can end up dying because they're not really consequential martial artists.
I didn't know much about the group, but statistically I was like, one of them has to be bad. And right after I said that was the scene where we lose Jade, and I was like, yep.
So they did Lady Shiva the most justice. Even her fighting style, like in the comics, she never has her guard up. It's always like she knows what moves are coming. So in the comics, part of her power, or not power, her ability is that she can read body language and she can predict what the move is going to be before it happens. And she kind of, that ability is passed on to Batgirl, which is her daughter. But she also is very skilled in martial arts where at one point she killed Batgirl and then brought her back to life with like some kind of special strike. So like she has special techniques in the tuck. She is the one who trained Batman she trained his confidence back. Like she got his confidence
when he got his back broken,
when he got his back broken during what is it called? Nightfall, when Bane broke his back. She was the one who trained Bruce, helped him get his confidence and his skill back. And she trained a lot of the Bat family, surprisingly. So did Richard Dragon. Actually, Nightwing and Bruce both trained under Richard Dragon.
I didn't know that Nightwing did, but I knew that Bruce did.
So the way they portrayed Shiva, spot on. She was doing the leopard blow. She wasn't having her guard up in combat. She was predicting moves. She was basically owning everybody. And then what was I
am the weapon.
That was cool.
That was great. Yeah, you threw away your weapon. No, I am the weapon. That was my favorite part. They did Shiva really well. I'm not too familiar with Richard Dragon and Bronze Tiger besides what's on Wikipedia because they're not really comic heavy. Like I feel like they're in like the Silver Age. They didn't feature very much.
I think they didn't have long story arcs. I don't think.
So that's why I feel like this movie works as a Batman movie because Batman is lower on the tier. He's the lowest on the tier of the ones that are alive.
Like it's more accurate.
It is accurate. However, I agree that it shouldn't have been called a Batman movie, but it should have been named something else so that people didn't think going in it was going to be a Batman movie. But yeah, sure, Batman didn't do much, but he can't really do much hand-to-hand wise in that group. He's not going to have like.
Well, so I didn't think that he was going to be the one catching bodies. Like if Shiva's in it, obviously, like I'm glad that they did her justice finally because like we've never really seen that before, even if she made cameos in like previous animation. But even small stuff like when they're fighting the snake golem and the weird like German guy, whatever. It was Bronze Tiger that was like fire and mace, not just mace. I was like, come on,
when he snapped that big cobra's neck in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh shit. And that's one of his traits too. Like they did everyone justice. The only thing is that I don't know too much about Bronze Tiger and Richard Dragon, but from how they portrayed him in the film, like Bronze Tiger is known for his strength. And so when he snapped that big cobra's neck, I was like, damn, that's Bronze Tiger. And then Richard Dragon's known for his technique. And when he did that 1-inch punch, And when he
Yeah,
beat
that
that
was cool.
fake ass Daredevil, that was cool.
Is he also known for throwing rocks to distract?
Yeah.
To distract Daredevil.
Dude, I was hella dying when I saw that. I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Oh, Mar did want me to point out the inconsistency for the motorcycle fight. Like the motorcycle fight when they're like trying to catch the sword again in
Yeah.
the car chase. It reminded me of John Wick, which did it justice, the fighting on like with blades and stuff. But Mar, when he was watching, he was like, they can't even get that right. If you let the right hand go, you're not accelerating. The right hand
Shut
is
up.
the throttle.
There's a thing in this world called momentum where you don't have to be accelerating constantly. All right.
Yeah, it's a Marmentum, dude. He's calling stuff out.
How about you read up on inertia? Okay. God. Wow. So, what was I going to say?
Good suggestion, though.
I don't like how they made Richard Dragon look. He's supposed to be a redhead. Depending on what iteration.
He's like white.
What?
Depending on what iteration, he either has a full head of hair and no beard, or bald and a beard, but he's supposed to be a redhead, which I thought was weird. Like,
they really made him look like Bruce Lee.
They made him look like Bruce Lee, and when he's next to Batman, it looks like Dick and Bruce.
Yeah,
that's who I thought it was at
Richard,
first.
and I was like,
yeah. When he said Richard, I thought
Dragon is a real character. That's why
yeah. Why did they not? I mean, and it would have been more visually distinctive from the other characters who all have dark hair. It would have been nice to see this ginger get his kicks off.
Is Richard Dragon? Because I know he has red hair, but is he white or was he?
He's white.
Okay,
and this one he looks like Asian.
He's Asian, yeah.
Yeah,
he actually looks like Shang-Chi.
Oh, really?
And Shang-Chi's like half Asian, half white in the comics.
And
he's also a special agent. So I'm like, are you just straight up ripping off Shang-Chi right now?
What came first? Like
that's a good question. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I'm
interested to see where this goes because they left it open-ended, and this
yeah. So it ended after they went into that snake gate, and they're gonna fight. They don't show the bad guy, so maybe there's a part 2. I don't know. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Well, so we find out for the gate, you need a soul to open the gate by using soul breaker. By like stabbing someone, it absorbs a soul, and then you jab it into the gate to open it like a key. But you also find out that it requires sacrifice to close it. So anytime it's open, someone has to sacrifice themselves, enter the gate to close it down, which is very Ghostbustery. That makes me think of the Ghostbusters gate. But yeah, so at the end, they can't decide who would do like the honorable thing and who is meant to enter the gate, because O-Sensei says the reason why I'm here guarding this gate is a reason why I hope you're also here later down the line, is to protect it for one, and if it's open for 2, to sacrifice yourself. So I thought that was a cool nod to O-Sensei, like they all decided to sacrifice themselves to close it, but I'm also like, dang, all these people just walking in.
So I said that this reminded me of DC's version of the Defenders. When Bronze Tiger and Richard Dragon are walking up the stairs, I hella got like Iron Fist and Luke Cage vibes. And then we have the Jessica Jones, who's Shiva, and then Batman the Daredevil. It's like, oh, he's doing it again. Like he's the only one with a costume. I loved everything about this movie, and they really nailed. Like it reminded me of Kung Fu, that show, and Vanishing Sun is another show where it's like all about
I watched that one.
Kung Fu martial arts, but there's also like a life lesson in it, especially when O-Sensei is talking to Bruce and he's like trying to break that rock, and like it starts out with everyone breaking it, and then slowly one by one everyone like quits for the night, but Bruce is still going at it, and then O-Sensei is like, this rock is like crime, like you can keep punching it, even if you break it there's still pebbles, and even if you break those pebbles there's still sand. So it's always going to be there. And I love it when like Bruce pauses for a second and then he just goes back to hitting it. That perfectly embodies Batman. Like that, they did Batman great. They did him.
You're right.
They did him justice. He was portrayed perfectly, even though he was lower tier, the lowest tier of the martial artists. They really did Batman justice. And that's what separates him as a fighter. It's his drive. It's not necessarily his skill. Because when you look at his skill on the surface, it's not that he has like a depth of knowledge. He has a breadth of knowledge.
Yeah.
So like he knows a lot about everything, but most of the martial artists know a lot about a few things. Yeah, a few things. So that's what kind of separates Bat. And then like obviously it's his ingenuity. He was the only one to incapacitate O Sensei in the fight at the end when you find out he's possessed by that snake god. But granted, he did use his smoke bombs and his cape. But that's what separates him as a fighter. Even if he is lower tiered as a martial artist, I feel like he'd still beat everybody there in a fight because of his other tactics and skills that he's acquired over the course and his drive.
I did write in my notes, this movie gradually shows Batman turn from stubborn to determined. So it's like some of it was like when he's beating that rock, like it was like, oh, he's just stubborn, he doesn't want to quit. But then I think after that talk with O Sensei, it was like, no, he's not stubborn, he's now determined to like make a difference.
So we're now we're gonna do top 5 martial artists. You guys ready?
Sorry, I just see Jason from San Jose in the background.
Oh, Jason from San Jose. So let's do it like this. We'll each give our hero or our character for that spot. Instead of everyone doing their own 5, we'll go over each spot with each person.
Okay.
This is
because just in case we each have the same character on the tier. And then we can, like, if it's a different tier, we can say why ours was a different tier.
So we're starting at 5.
Yeah, we'll start at 5. Who wants to go first?
Oh, man.
I'll go first.
All right.
So I have to mention Asterisk. She didn't make it on my list, but when we were talking about top 5 martial artists, for some reason my brain kept going to Psylocke, but I think it's just the interesting part of her body being in an assassin's body. So it's not necessarily like a Betsy Braddock's like skill set, but it's like the learned.
Oh, sorry, I should have clarified ahead of time. So I said in the beginning, your top 5 martial artists. Vince asked, how are we doing this? Who wins in a fight? Who our favorite is? It's whatever the criteria you want it to be. The way I did mine is my favorite to read. So we can explain what our criteria was along the way. Sorry, go ahead.
My criteria was hang on. What is going on? Hang on.
Don't worry, we can edit this part out.
I got a phone call and then my audio went crazy. Okay, sorry. So my criteria was top 5 in skill set, like who I think has the most skill, not necessarily who would win in a fight. Okay. So I think Psylocke, like I just went there just because her story is so interesting with her being body swapped with an assassin. So like to read, I would probably have put Psylocke on my list, but I don't think she actually has a really great skill set.
Okay. So that's why that's why she's your number 5.
No, she's my asterisk. She's not on the list. My
that's 5. Your honorable mention. Oh, we should have did that one. We should have did that last.
I jotted down some honorable mention too, but yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
all right,
sorry.
Hit us with your 5 then. What are you doing?
My number 5 is Gamora.
Wow. Oh, Gamora. Okay, she's actually a highly skilled martial artist in the MCU.
Yeah, dude, she's known for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Any specific reason or any comic book feats that?
I just think like what she's been exposed to, like just her story.
Killing, dude, just straight killing.
Yeah.
So, like she's used. That's what she's used to. So like that she won't hesitate when things need to be. When the hard decisions need to be made.
It's not fighting to win or fighting to a standstill. It's fighting to survive, basically.
Nice.
She's my number 5.
All right. Vince, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go. So for my criteria, it wasn't so much like actual what I've read. It's more of what I've seen. So for me, my number 5, man, this was hard because I went back.
Supposed to be hard.
Yeah, this was really tough. Because I basically said Wolverine 5 times. But, no, just kidding. Just kidding. So for me, my number 5 was Black Panther.
Nice.
Nice.
For kind of a lot of reasons, because he has the knowledge of all the other Black Panthers. So he has that in his toolbox. Also, just from what we've seen in the MCU, when he was first introduced in Civil War, you can tell that he's more agile. He has a whole bunch of different styles, and even when he went against Bucky, he was beating him without his gear. He was just like in a regular suit, and he was handling him. So I thought that was cool. And then
I want to add that it was when Bucky was fully activated and Black Panther was barely exerting himself. It looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So there's that. I think all the Black Panthers, they're like trained from birth to be like to take on that mantle. So pretty much as soon as he grew up, he already was training to be where he's at. So that's why his knowledge is so good. And so he has all those different styles. He's smart, he's tactical. He like even in the movie, in his own solo movie, he knows how to do different weaponry. Like he had those the electric balls that go straight to the cars and stuff. So like he knows how to use different things. So he's really smart with that.
He's not just berserker barraging through everything like a dummy. Is what you're trying to say.
We'll go into that. We'll go into that. But yeah, so like I feel like he of course relies on all the technology and stuff and all the suit, but he doesn't even need all of it.
That's right.
So that's my number 5.
And in the comics, I just want to add that he is a genius, like certified genius.
Yeah.
He's in the Illuminati. He's basically Marvel's Batman. He's got a tactical mind. He's got super high tech gear, and he's got the skills and powers to go with it. So he's definitely a top threat. I'd say he might even be top 3 martial artists in the MCU. All right. So my number 5, first of all, my criteria was my favorite to read. So anytime, I mean, obviously there's going to be people out in the comic verse that are more skilled than the ones I've listed. They're going to be more powerful and they definitely win in a fight, but I'm going just based on who is my favorite to read. Okay. My number 5 is going to be Taskmaster, who isn't in the MCU yet, but he's coming. Mm-hmm. I read spoilers. I won't disclose them here. But from what I've seen in the comics, he's one of those characters who's kind of like Deathstroke, who's later in my list, who is so like has so much potential and so much like power that they always have to handicap him in some way for him to be like in the same.
Yeah,
he's a villain in the comics, and that's why like he gets beaten all the time. But he even loses to weaker heroes, which that's what they call it in the comic world is a jobber, someone who's there just to make the hero look good by losing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of what Deathstroke has become over the years in like different media, which kind of upsetting. But just his powers on its face like are just interesting to read about. He has what's called photographic reflexes. He can see a move and copy it perfectly. And then in his comic book run, I don't know which one it was called, but he had like a limited edition solo run. It's giving you a rundown on his early start and like how he kind of started out too fast. He started off running instead of walking. So at one point he saw a diver dive into a pool and he was like, oh, that's cool. I want to do that. And he does. Then he realizes once he hits the pool that he didn't learn how to swim first. So he almost drowns.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
Damn.
So that kind of put it in his head like, okay, I need to slow down. My powers are cool, but I need to think this out. And my favorite exploit from the comics is when he was going into some like facility and it was like heavily guarded, and he's doing something. You don't know what he's doing, but he's studying something, and you find out that he's watching Bruce Lee and like fast forward, and he's able to copy that for a few seconds. And obviously he's like very exhausted afterwards, like he's fully exerted himself, but it's just cool to learn that one of his abilities is to copy Bruce Lee and fast forward, and that he can do it. So not just copy moves in real time, but if they're in fast forward, he could also do that in real time, which was kind of cool. And that's why
I have a question. Yeah, I have a question. So, if he were to fight Lady Shiva, who do you think would win? Because their powers are kind.
Shiva,
really?
Okay.
But then he can.
Shiva has that ability. Shiva has the ability,
and their
to
abilities
copy.
Are kind of the same.
Yep. But I mean, I still think even if he's able to copy Shiva's moves, she's faster, more deadly, more skilled. Mm-hmm. So I still think she'd catch that buddy.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Monica, you're number 4.
This one was hard for me because I kind of wanted to put Gamora higher, but I don't know why. Like I thought of her at the last minute, so she ended up number 5. But my number 4 is Elektra.
Nice. You're coming with the assassins. All right.
Yeah, I know. That's it's hard to not pick the assassins, but also not do the whole list, just the Bat family. Like
That's right. Yeah, I try to mix it up too.
Yeah.
you'll see a combination of both. But
Hard not to do 5 Wolverines. I got you.
Yes, right? So hard, dude. One of them is Wolverine, one of them is James Howlett, one of them is Logan, one of them is
Yeah, so a lot of mine, like I kept switching the characters in their places, but this is the
same.
number I'm gonna represent them. So my
Okay.
number 4 is Elektra.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Any particular reason? She's just badass too.
She's badass too. She was trained by the hand, right? Like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
like
She
all
led the
the-
hand at some point.
Yeah, I was about to
yeah,
say she led
that's
the
what I was
hand.
gonna say. I was like, she's like a more badass version of Talia, I feel like.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Talia's already
Okay.
pretty badass.
Yeah, that's right. That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Your number
where
4,
I'm at.
Vince?
My number 4, again, this was tough too because I kept switching him, but my number 4 was Batman.
Nice.
And not so much the movie wise, because to me, I don't think we've really seen a good fighting Batman in any media. So like
He's more of a brawler in the media, I feel like.
Yeah,
really
and
martial arts.
and it's like kind of slow. I mean, maybe it's the actor, I don't know, but like the choreography, even in all the Batman, it's not as cool to me as it could be. You know, as
Mhm.
of course he has so much potential because he knows so many things in the comics. So that's one of the reasons why he's my number 4, is because not only is he smart, tactical, he knows how to use resources, but he also knows so many different styles. And then pairing that all together with what you mentioned before, which is like his determination and all that stuff, I think that's a badass combo.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
that's mainly why he's my number 4.
Nice. Respect. Batman's later on in my list. My number 4, Daredevil. So Daredevil,
He's on mine too.
I don't know. I just have something about super powered martial artists. I like the street brawler martial artists with no powers, but the ones who do have powers, for some reason, they're just cooler to me.
They edge him out.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's fun to read about what the author does with the powers. Like I've seen different things that Daredevil can do that only that writer has come up with. There's in the comics, he's like able to sense changes in air to predict when attacks are coming.
Damn, that's dope.
I forgot what what's the one where he's in the black and he's got the thing covering his eyes.
That's like one of the first ones.
Yeah. Fuck, what is it called? I'm blanking on it. Reborn? Was it Reborn?
It might be Reborn.
So in that comic, he
Yeah.
deflects a bullet with his billy club. Someone shoots a bullet, he deflects it and it like hits some dude's glasses or something, maybe killed him. I don't remember. But yeah, he has some cool exploits. My favorite one is the storyline, The Devil in Cell Block D, when
Ooh, I love that one.
it's revealed that Matt Murdock is Daredevil and he goes to jail and he has to fend for himself in there.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when he's fighting Hammerhead and like he hits him in the back of the head and then the speech, like the narration bubble says like, I hit him in a certain nerve cluster. It feels like his eyes are hot coals in the back of his, in his, it feels like his eyeballs are hot coals in his head. And like he put him in excruciating pain. So that's probably one of my favorite Daredevil exploits are the nerve strikes. So like, it's not just him brute strengthening it, like powering through people. It's
because he doesn't really have like brute strength.
It's precise, it's calculated, and he's got the cool powers to make him like really aware. So he's my number 4.
I will say I almost put him instead of Elektra, but when I got down to it, I was like, no, I think Elektra.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad this is not a boring list, because if we all had the same person in like different tiers, even that would have been boring. But this is,
I did
this is
also.
great.
I tried to pick people that I thought might not have come up on your list, but I still genuinely thought would be badass.
Nice.
So my number 3 is Cassandra Cain.
Oh, number 3 only? Okay, let's get it. Let's get it. We're going there. We're going there.
You'll see who else is on my list.
Can you guess who my number 1 is?
Cassandra Cain, man. I mean, like, just from the cradle, like her mom, right, is Lady Shiva. Yeah. So she has all those powers inherent from her mother. And she's just like, she trained under Lady Shiva. She trained under, not O Sensei. She trained under a bunch of people. And also like, oh God, League of Shadows. She trained under the League of Shadows. And I think she, at one point, I can't remember if she beat Talia or not, but she's crazy.
She can handle the whole Bat family, huh?
She can
Yeah.
handle the whole Bat family. She's the only one who's actually handily defeated Deathstroke in hand-to-hand combat. Like there's
Yeah.
a scene and they're fighting in a hallway and like they're going at it and Batgirl's like dodging his moves, taking away his weapons like one by one, just dismantle
Oh,
like
nice.
like taking it off his hip, taking it off his back.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, she's badass. She's like she's probably she is only second to only Karate Kid in the DC universe. I feel like she's better than Lady Shiva, second to Karate Kid.
I want to reread her run, honestly, like her Batgirl run. I think I have issues like the compilations. I think I have 1 and 2, but I don't think I have the full set. So I want to go back and read her.
I used to have a RAR with all those comics in it.
Nice.
I read that whole run. Kelly Puckett, the writer, that was a great fucking run. Oh my god! All right,
And
sorry,
again, like I didn't know if I should put her higher, but this is where she
probably
fell.
should have.
It's
Ever
her
disrespect
list.
the
It's her
god.
list.
All right, go ahead, Vince.
I mean, we already talked about this, but my number 3 is Daredevil, and
Nice.
so yeah, I totally agree with all the other stuff that you said. He knows multiple styles, and also he became the leader of the Hand at one point too.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to mention that Shadowland.
Yeah, Shadow
Yes.
Man. So he's definitely up there, and that's in terms of comics and also from what I've seen in the show too. So like mainly my list is stuff that I've seen, but he is one of the ones where like I think it's both comics and
You
stuff I've
you
seen.
won't go wrong there because the way they did him in the small screen, it was
Yeah.
very faithful to his like power level, his skill level in the comics.
Yeah.
So
My favorite thing in media is always like as a kid when he's figuring it out and you can see all of the like um all the sensors and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's cool. It's kind of like when Spider-Man like learns his stuff, but I just like that scene where he's just cruising around the rooftops like bang, like
Yeah,
seeing
that's hella
everything.
cool. Yeah.
It's just he's enjoyable. I like him.
Go ahead, Matt.
my number 3 is going to be Batman. One thing that stood out to me in media, not comics, was the Gotham Knights 2000, I think it was 2006 cartoon movie, and it's like different vignettes of a Batman's story. My favorite part was when he was training in India, and he was training to ignore pain. So like they were just smashing boards on his head and stuff, and he was just like there, like calm and just like, which really goes to like Batman's training and his skill as a martial artist. I know I said earlier he doesn't have the depth, he has the breadth, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have like mastery in those different styles, which we saw in that vignette where he's just like ignoring pain. It's like it's set where he's flashing back, but he's in a current situation where like he's bleeding out as Batman, but he's remembering his training in India where he's like ignoring pain. So that was really cool. That was a good feat that I saw recently. Let's see. I love Batman versus anytime he crosses over with people, not just in the DC universe, but Batman versus Daredevil. You see how he puts his detective abilities to work in combat situations. So he was able, just by looking at Daredevil and how his head was tilted, he was able to deduce Daredevil's powers. He was like, "Oh, the way your head's tilted, you favor your sense of smell over your other senses." And then he was able to sneak up on Daredevil, so Daredevil didn't hear his footsteps. But the only way he knew Batman was behind him was because of his radar sense, which is independent of his other senses. It's an additional sense. So just that fact, how skilled Batman is on just as a regular dude. He took out how many white Martians because he deduced that they were Martians. In that one storyline, I forget what it's called. But the white Martians were posing as like superheroes from like another dimension or world. And Batman found out there were white Martians, and then he like started taking them out one by one because their weakness is fire. So his detective mind is that edge in the martial arts fight where he doesn't necessarily have that physical skill, but his mind is that X factor where he can win almost any situation. I mean, he fucked up Superman with that kryptonite ring. So,
and that's apparent in even the animated movies too. Like
I will say that's one of the things.
Hella people.
That's one of the things that I kind of regretted just for that last animated movie was just they didn't show as much of his deductive reasoning, like how to take people down. Like I didn't want him to be the best martial artist in that movie because he wasn't. Like honestly, he was at bottom tier, like you said, but they didn't really do anything else Batman wise other than like throw a few smoke pellets, like you know.
So my hope going forward in the movie, the live action movie universe, is that because Batman is so many things, that the way he's been portrayed in different movies, it's different, but it's still canon. So we got in the Keaton movies where he's just like this vigilante. We got in the Nolan movies where he's a martial arts master. And then in the Batman Superman, he exists in a world of superheroes and can still hold his own. And then we're getting in the Pattinson movie. It feels like we're going to get
More of a
The
detective.
the
detective.
detective.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that if it doesn't happen in that movie, we get in a future movie where we see his deductive capabilities put to combat use, like in Sherlock, where it's like,
hell yeah. I would like that
traumatized
one.
solar plexus. Like if we see that kind of combat, that would be sick.
Yeah.
I don't even care if
Yeah.
people are like, oh, you're ripping off Sherlock. That Batman has that ability and he's done it in the comics. And I would love to see that in live action movie.
Yeah.
Batman's my number
Facts.
3.
Seriously.
Facts. Okay.
My number 2, and you can contest this because my order is kind of weird. My number 2 is Damian Wayne.
Nice.
Oh,
I'm not going to dispute it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Talk
he
your
beat
shit.
Talia. I think at one point he might have beaten Lady Shiva. I can't remember. But
Just don't reference Son of Batman where he beat Deathstroke. I will kill you.
No, I'm not gonna reference that. I mean, like it's similar to Cassie's background, right? He from the cradle grew up as a fighter, so he has all this fight experience and knowledge. And like I think the main downfall for him is just he's trying to be an adult when he's still a kid, and he has a lot to learn in that sense. But like in the fight sense, like he's definitely at my top.
I was convinced at one point him and Cassie were going to be a thing because when Damien is
Yeah.
first introduced in the Bat family, he's like crass with everybody, but then he goes, "Where's
And then
Cassandra?
Cassandra,
She sounds delightful." Like because they do have that similar upbringing where they're raised to be assassins and they're both ruthless. But then he ends up being a dick to her anyways, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, go on. Anything
Yeah,
else?
no, that was it. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Vince.
For me, my number 2 was Captain America.
Nice.
And that's mainly for what we've seen. I haven't really been too comic heavy on Captain America, but from what we've seen, you can tell that he has different styles. Like he had, it looks like a mix of boxing. There's some like, I don't know, some kind of Muay Thai. He does a lot of kicks too, some Taekwondo and all that stuff. So he has that experience. He has the mix of the determination like Batman. He can do this all day type of stuff. So like he has that. He won't give up. Um, what else? He has pretty much endless endurance, and so like he's shown that through uh, different fights with Bucky. He pretty much would have won, but he gave up, kind of. He did the same thing with up against Iron Man. Yeah, it was him and Bucky versus Iron Man, but still, I feel like he could have handed Iron Man. Um, he went up against all those. He was the only one in Endgame who was still standing. So there's that. And so just his spirit alone, I think that's what helps carry his character into my top.
A great exploit I saw in the comics that showed his martial arts mastery was when Peter switched from Tony's side to Cap's side in Civil War. But before that, him and Cap fought. And obviously, Spidey on paper is going to be the superior fighter because he's got the super strength. He outclasses Cap in strength. He's got enhanced speed. He is faster than Cap, more agile, but he still loses to Cap. And at one point, it's like Peter's in the air, and then like Cap does like this nerve strike to his like side or something like that, and like incapacitates him. So I thought that was cool, and that was kind of revisited in the Civil War movie where Cap beats Peter, and I like that Tony said if Cap wanted to put you down, he would have.
He would have, yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. Like it's not just about physical attributes; he's got the technique to do it. And then in the comics, he's training Peter at one point, and like they're doing katas, but then Peter's off doing something, and he's facing a villain where he shoots bullets and they're heat seeking. So they're like following him. So no matter how many times he dodges, like it'll still follow him. And then in Peter's head, he's thinking about Cap's training, and then he's able to catch one bullet, but another bullet like hits him in the leg or something. So I thought that was kind of cool. So like Cap's expertise kind of upped Spider-Man's game just
Yeah.
just that alone. So I thought that was
Yeah.
really
So
cool.
he knows hand to hand. He knows how to obviously throw his shield. So he knows like how to operate weaponry. He can shoot guns and stuff like that. He also has respect and leadership, like from the people in the MCU for one, and then also in the comics. Like in the Civil War comic, Punisher was like they were hella fighting, right?
Yes.
And then he chose not to fight against Cap because he has so much respect for him. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's one thing I wish could have shown up in the MCU. The fact that Punisher is like is a huge fanboy of Cap.
Mhm.
That's just great lore.
When you
So
say
yeah, go ahead.
when you say fanboy, I just think of what's his face in John Wick. It's like big fan.
It's like that. I feel like. My wait, what are we on? Number 2? Yeah, because I already said Batman. Number 2 is Deathstroke. So off the bat, I'm gonna cite the Identity Crisis fight where he takes out.
That's what I was just about to say. That's my
takes out Hawkman, takes out Atom, takes out Zatanna, takes out Green Lantern. Although there's an asterisk by there because Green Lantern for some reason came up with the close hand-to-hand combat. Like, keep your distance, you moron. I think. Oh, and Green Arrow. He didn't beat them. He was besting them until they all started piling up on him. But he handily bested them in the beginning just using his brain, and it was a combination of his superior strength and reflexes and his eyesight, which he let him see Atom. So the fact that he was able to take on those leaguers, even though they're not the best of the best, he was able to hold his own, and at one point looked like he was going to win against some really serious threats in the DCU. That I had another thing. Oh, and I was just going to say he's kind of like a combination of Taskmaster and Cap. So power-wise, he's really fun to read about. And I apparently he does have a healing factor because in one of his story arcs, he like got killed and then eventually came back to life. So he does have a healing factor. So he's kind of like a mix of Cap, Taskmaster, and Wolverine in a sense.
Doesn't he also have the capability to use like 90% of his?
Yeah, that's his gimmick. Yeah, that's his gimmick. It's like, oh yeah, most humans only use 10%. He uses 90% of the brain. That's kind of like pop psychology. That's not really. Okay. Yeah, it's not real in any sense scientifically, but that's his shtick. Kind of like how Taskmaster's is. He has photo reflexes, and I like people with a shtick when it comes to hand. I like that. He uses 90% of his brain. Just sounds dope. And then Taskmaster, he's got photo reflexes. Shiva, she can read your body language. Like, I love that shtick in hand-to-hand combat. It makes it so much cooler to read.
So my number 1, and we've featured this person heavily in this episode, is Lady Shiva.
Yeah. Nice.
Not mad. And you already said like she has that gimmick that you like, and she's faster. She's more ruthless. I feel like she's an assassin for hire. I like, especially in that movie when she was just killed that guy casually and then was just like wasting my time.
So her thing in the comics is that she would hunt down like known senseis and challenge them to a fight and then kill them.
And I didn't know about the killing part. I knew that she was challenging people, but I forgot that she actually like.
Yeah, I remember specifically she like fought some dude who didn't have any arms, only legs, and she just killed his ass. I'm like, damn, he's already struggling, bro. Just leave him be.
Ruthless.
That's not even a joke. She really did.
Damn, dude.
I had to give it up to the assassins in this list. Like even
that's a good list, though. That's a good list.
It had to be the assassin. They're the assassins.
If you picked all of them in X-Men Legends or in Marvel Alliance, they would be like assassins, and you'd get like some kind of buff to your melee critical damage or something.
Yeah,
that's the top spot, obviously.
Yeah, she took my top. So
nice.
James,
so for me, of course you guys know it. It is the one and only Professor Xavier. So with him, he
he's just in his floating chair, like dodging kicks.
In his chair.
Now you already know my number 1, and of course, just like you said before, Matt, like this is not of course people are more skilled than him and stuff like that, all that stuff, but for me this is just my personal number 1. But Wolverine, he, based on comics and based on what we've seen. So just on what we've seen, uh, he doesn't really have like a fighting style kind of in what we've seen. It's mainly just him scratching and stuff like that. But he is ruthless. He is an assassin also. He is savage. Um, he isn't afraid to uh, take that step where people are like, he isn't afraid to cross the line when people are like kind of hesitant. So like he's the go-to guy. Um, he's fast, he's quick, he's agile. Uh, in some of even on some of the scenes in that one Wolverine movie where he goes to Japan, I thought some of
Yes, the
those fighting
Wolverine.
scenes were really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
those that was really good. Um, and then even in the comics, he knows a whole bunch of different styles. Like, so let me just read. Let me read some of these, man. So he
Okay,
knows.
all right. Talk a shit.
He knows Krav Maga. He knows Savate.
He said
Krav Maga and Savat.
Krav Maga.
Krav Maga. It's a
Yeah.
Krav-
Okay.
It's
Krav Maga.
yeah. Krav Make America Great Again.
Krav Maga.
It's the greatest martial arts. You never heard of it. No one's
I'm gonna
better.
punch you in your full throat.
With these
So
red
he
hats.
knows Krav Maga. Was it Savate? Was
Savat.
it Savat? He knows ninjutsu. He knows Kyosho Jitsu. He knows Aikido, boxing,
Aikido.
karate.
Okay. Keep going. Talk your shit.
Yeah. He knows the samurai, the way of the samurai. He knows shuriken, tonkatsu, kamehameha. He knows.
Did you say tonkatsu? I'm
Tonkatsu
hungry
ramen?
now. Damn, I'm really hungry now.
He knows Tatsumaki
Krav Maga.
Senpaku.
Krav Maga.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so he
Ramen.
knows shoyu ramen. He knows tonkatsu. Katsu. But yeah, so he also is obviously super old, so he knows all these different styles. So he's mixing up a whole bunch of things. So he's got all that under his belt on top of his healing factor. Yeah, granted, he kind of uses that to his disadvantage, where he'll just go into something knowing that he's not going to get hurt. So there's that. And then also the Wolverine anime, which is on Netflix. He goes samurai style in that too. So
nice.
there's a whole bunch of styles that he knows.
Love it. I think one thing that stood out to me incredibly was like how you said he has a role. He'll cross the line when no one else is willing to. So that was especially clear when he joined the New Avengers. And like there was some kind of hostage standoff and they had a bomb. And then like the Avengers who are there, Cap, Spider-Woman, I think Spider-Man was in that one, Luke Cage. They were failing. They were about to the terrorists were about to detonate the bomb, and then Wolverine comes in and just kills him or something. And then Cap is like, what are you doing? And then Wolverine's like, why did you call me to this team? This is what I'm here for. And I'm like, yeah, that is Wolverine's role. He knows his place. He's not the prettiest fighter, but he is the most effective that I've seen.
Yeah. And like wasn't he because he's on the side of the Avengers and also on the X-Men side. So like wasn't he the one in House of M to kind of like, what we need to do is we need to kill Wanda because she's too dangerous.
Yeah, I think he was. So, yeah, he's the one who's willing to do what's necessary.
Yeah. So I like that about him. A lot of people respect that too, and they know that they can't do that. So he's the one, like you said, he's the one to take on that role.
I mean, when you're feared at 5'5", you know you're a badass.
That's like being scared of Robin Williams.
You were gonna say something when we were talking, Kuya?
Oh no, when he said Wolverine on Netflix, I was gonna say not a sponsor.
All right, it's that time that you waited for. Number one in that one spot is Batgirl, Cassandra Cain, dude. You already know, the one who is all. She's called that in the comics because from a young age she was deprived of speech. Her dad, who is David Cain, made an agreement with Shiva to create a perfect like assassin daughter, which I still feel like Shiva should have fucked Deathstroke. They would have had a better daughter. But it was David Cain. He raised
Learn
her.
each other's moves in bed.
She lent her room. He lent his training. He deprived her of speech. He taught her how to read body language. And at one point, she trained under everyone in the League of Assassins, who it's revealed to be included like Bronze Tiger, Lady Shiva, David Kane, and others. I forget who else. I don't know.
Wait, who's David
I don't
Kane?
think David Kane is just some random assassin for hire.
But is he like up there in Assassins? Like,
I
feel like that's kind
guess.
of a random name.
That's why I said it should have been Deathstroke. He is really
Yeah,
random. Like
yeah.
he's Deadpool without the quips and the style.
Mm.
He's just some regular dude who kills for money.
Mm.
But yeah, so she trains under the League of Assassins at a young age. And I remember in the picture, Bronze Tiger was there in his cool ass tiger outfit. I don't think Richard Dragon was there, but it included Bronze Tiger, Shiva, and David Kane and others. Ra's al Ghul, I guess. But yeah, so she's called the One Who Is All. So she's basically all of the League of Assassins.
Nice.
So she's meant to take over Shiva's role in that family, in the Ra's al Ghul, in the Al Ghul family. She's supposed to be the League of Assassins. She's supposed to take Shiva's mantle. And the reason why she's so dope is because she not only has Shiva's ability to read body language and dodge moves, dodge bullets before and after they're fired. She has also been shown to move at incredibly fast speeds. So she, at one point, some dude is about to shoot someone and she sees it and she like races to the person he's going to shoot and like intercepts the bullet. So like she's moving at like pretty fast. And my other favorite one was from her solo run where it's like a bunch of like federal agents are pointing red lasers on her and like she's like dodging all the bullets. Like it just shows all the bullets whizzing by her.
How come of course we know that she's so dope and stuff like that, but then how come she is like, why does she choose to be under Batman? Like, because she can obviously beat him.
That's a good question. So it's revealed early in her origin that she was raised to be an assassin from an early age. That was her purpose. And she does take someone's life. It was like some mob boss. And then it traumatizes her so much that she vows to never do that again. So that's why she goes to Batman. And her first appearance actually is in, what is that? Oh God. The Cataclysm, when there's a earthquake in Gotham and it's like sealed off from the rest of the world. That's where she first shows up. She's like a vigilante, and then eventually she earns the Batgirl mantle. But yeah, that's why she goes to Batman. She's one of the only Bat family to kill, and then she swears it off. So that's why she goes to Batman. Okay. But yeah, just her feats alone are fucking dope. Like it's shown her catching shurikens like out of the air. Like someone will throw a bunch and then she'll just like put her finger through the holes of it and like catch hell of them. Nice. She's squared off against Connor Hawke, who is actually one of the top martial artists in DC. I get, for the purpose of the story, they fought to a standstill, but she definitely would have beat his ass like normally. So I was saying she was captured at one point and she was like in a cell and it's showing her basically just kicking at a wall like repeatedly. And it's just like this big ass brick wall. And eventually she kicks a hole through it and then she gets out. So she's got like speed, like, I want to say it's like above top, like peak human. So like she's got above peak human speed, strength, reflexes. And she has that ability to predict moves. And that's why she's my number one. She's she may be the only person who's ever beat Batman, Lady Shiva, and Deathstroke in hand-to-hand combat.
Oh shit. Okay.
So yeah, she's definitely up there. And I think she's better than Shiva. Even though she's not as skilled, she doesn't know as many techniques, her raw power and abilities. She killed Shiva. So she killed her, hung her above the Lazarus pits, and then Shiva drops in and she comes back to life. So yeah, she's definitely my number one.
I was going to ask, I forgot what made her go from Batgirl to Orphan. I completely forgot.
I don't know. That's one of the things that's like sucks about the DC comics. They treat Cassie Kane as like the redheaded stepchild of the Bat family. Yeah. I'm kind of bummed that she's not going to be the Batgirl in the new game. They never like give her shine. She's the Donatello of the Bat family. She never gets her just due.
That's what I was gonna ask.
In the comics, Batman actually adopts her and she takes on the name Cassie Wayne. But then like that whole Batman Inc. happens and like the status quo changes and then suddenly she's out of the picture. When Batman dies, remember how he recorded all those messages to the different Bat family of what to do in the event of his death?
Yeah.
Batgirl's was she was supposed to go to Japan and be the Bat. That was her alias in Batman Incorporated, and she left her Batgirl costume to Spoiler to be the next Batgirl.
Yeah, I know that she was Batgirl, and then she was the Bat, and then she was Orphan, but I couldn't remember what.
And like as she's gradually stepped away from that Bat mantle, they've toned down her abilities more and more, so she's not as dope, which kind of sucks because she's a beast.
Yeah, I was really bummed when they did the New 52, and then she originally wasn't gonna be like brought back to life, and then she was, or something like that.
She was in limbo for a while. Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't know what to do with her. They still don't know what to do with her. We had honorable mentions. Vince, did you have an honorable mention? We already know yours was what? Psylocke.
Mine was Psylocke, which had an asterisk because I was like Betsy or what was the assassin, Quanon or whatever. Yeah. So yeah.
So I had 3 on there. So so I had Deadpool just because of what we've seen, and I really like the movies and the fight scenes and all that stuff. I also had Ozymandias.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, even though we've only seen him once, but like he was handling what's his name? Or both of them, the owl guy, and then the Rorschach. He was handling Rorschach. Yeah. And then my last one, which I kept trying to figure out to put him in my 5, but then I left him out, but it was Blade.
Blade, nice. Okay. Yeah.
What about you, Monica? Oh no, you already had. Did you have an honorable mention, Matt?
I did. So he's not really a hand-to-hand combatant, but his powers make him like on that level. And I said Midnighter. He's always been someone who's really interesting to read. He's part of Stormwatch. It's kind of like a parody, not a parody. It's like a knockoff of the Justice League. I don't know if there are in the DC universe or like technically associated with it, but he's basically the Batman to Apollo's Superman. But his powers are, he has like cybernetic like enhancements, mental enhancements, where he's able to run 1 million combat simulations in his head to know how to win a fight against someone. So it's kind of like if you've seen the movie Edge of Tomorrow, where he keeps living one day over and over and over and over again to the point where he knows exactly what's going to happen. So he knows how to win. It's like that, except he does it like in a matter of seconds. So he knows how to beat someone just by basically being there and looking at him. And it's also been shown that he has the ability to, he has ability to like, instead of just running a simulation and then finding out how to beat him, he can figure out how he wants to beat him and then work backwards to figure out what to do. Nice. Yeah. So that's cool. He's got that shtick that makes the hand-to-hand person fun to read. So he's my honorable mention.
Nice.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Is that it?
That was a really good top 5.
Solid stuff.
That was really hard.
Really good stuff.
Very minimal repeats. So I like that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Next week we'll be covering, of course, the next episode of WandaVision, and I think we should have issue 2 of TMNT.
Last Ronin.
Yes. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, it drops on the 17th, I believe. So.
Cool.
Nice. So that's gonna do it for episode 4 of Maganda Forever. I am your co-host Matt.
I'm Vince.
And I'm Monica.
Macaroni in a pot. That's a wet ass pussy. Bye. I'm not Wakandan, but my bionic arm enhanced. Just say the words, I'm activated like a Nazi trance. Catch vibranium to your cranium, wanna glance. Full body cast from a cyclops optic blast. I doubt you crews prepared for this hit. Catch a glimpse of who I'm with, have you scared of the clip? No heart-shaped herbs or any terrigen myths. I'm taking out your ankles on some anti-Carrigan shit.